Republicans everywhere are celebrating the fact that Josh Shapiro, the super popular, super charismatic, very well-spoken, in effect moderate governor of Pennsylvania, was not chosen as Kamala Harris's running mate. Every single person I talked to in conservative politics this morning was like, what in the freaking world are these people thinking? Josh Shapiro is the clear and obvious choice for vice president. Not to mention, he wanted to be the vice presidential pick for Kamala Harris's presidential ticket for 2024. There's a lot of other Democrats that didn't want to be that pick. Gretchen Whitmer out of Michigan, Gavin Newsom out of California did not want to be on the losing ticket with Kamala Harris. And yet, a popular governor in a swing state that Democrats need to win, who's a charismatic dude who a lot of people liked and is pretty moderate when it comes to policy stuff. Now, we're not going to go with him. We're going to go with some fat old dude who is a crazy progressive socialist, but we'll get to Tampon Tim in just a little bit. But I want to talk about this Josh Shapiro pick. Think about it. Josh Shapiro, in 2022, ran during the same election as John Fetterman. Both Democrats, both running for statewide elected offices. John Fetterman won by about 5 points, give or take, right? 5 points against Dr. Oz. Josh Shapiro running in the same race in a statewide ticket with the same D next to his name, won by 15 points in Pennsylvania. Now, just goes without saying, Pennsylvania is a swing state. And the differentiating between Fetterman running for Senate and Shapiro running for governor just goes to show you how good of a candidate this guy is. I sound like I'm repeating myself. He's well-spoken. He's articulate, which basically means well-spoken. He's popular. He's moderate. He's in a swing state. All of the earmarks that you need to have in your vice presidential pick, if you think vice presidential picks matter at all. But if you think they matter at all, he is the guy. And yet, the Kamala Harris team didn't pick him. Why? Well, because he's Jewish. And if I don't know. I hate hyperbole and I hate using the term anti-Semite. You know, I hate throwing around hyperbolic terms, okay? But the Democrat Party is so anti-Semitic, they couldn't risk having the clear and obvious best pick for vice president be on the ticket with Kamala Harris. Why? Because they also have to win Michigan. And in order to win Michigan, you have to win Dearborn, a heavily Muslim-populated area. And because Josh Shapiro is Jewish, they decided that it wasn't worth the risk, again, to pick the best candidate they could have picked in this race that was willing to run with Kamala Harris because they needed to win Dearborn, Michigan. And they go around... Democrats in the left and progressives go around calling everybody else racist. I don't get it. Literally, the guy's race is the reason he is not on this ticket. Josh Shapiro's. Unbelievable. There's no situation in which Tim Walz, who we'll talk about in just a second, Tampon Tim, as he's being called affectionately on the internet and by me, even though I sometimes I stay away from the name calling, but this one is super fitting. Tampon Tim should be his name. Donald Trump should call him Tampon Tim and California Kamala. Anyways, where was I? Instead they're going to go with Tim Walz, the super lefty progressive socialist from Minnesota. It's unbelievably stupid how bad this pick was. And also, like I mentioned earlier, every single Republican commentator, guy in politics that I talked to was nervous over the weekend. Of like, not nervous necessarily, but like, look, this race becomes so much tighter if it is Josh Shapiro running on the ticket with Kamala Harris. Because he's, again, a moderate from a swing state and a popular governor who is very, very, very well-spoken. There's a lot of clips of him speaking and he sounds exactly like Barack Obama. And I don't know. People are hitting him for it. They're like, Josh Shapiro is just an Obama imitator. Like, okay, well, Obama's the most popular person in the Democratic Party. What? What are you gonna not imitate Obama? Like, that's stupid. But the whole thing is fascinating. There's also some reaction from people on the lefty side of the aisle that I thought was really, really interesting. Let me read this tweet. I was going to just paraphrase it, but I might as well read it for you. This is Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, who did not want to be on the ticket with Kamala Harris. And that's that weird, like, you can't run from the same state thing. But this is Gavin Newsom. Just brilliant, period. No one knows more about the job than the sitting vice president, who has served for a former two-term VP. Okay, that's an interesting, dumb... that doesn't matter at all, Gavin. Anyways, Tim Walz, Gavin says, is about doing the right thing. Whether it's free school meals or standing up to gun violence, he's never been intimidated. He's about honor and decency. That's another theme that I think is really, really a bad thing for Democrats to run on, and is exactly the right pick in the campaign about daylight versus darkness. He's an incredible partner as a governor and will make an incredible vice president. Let's go. Signed, Gavin Newsom. I've mentioned this before. Gavin Newsom wants Kamala Harris to lose more than anybody on planet Earth. I don't care if you are the biggest. I know some of the biggest MAGA people ever. Donald Trump can do no wrong. These people, some of them think, which is fine. I like these people, and Gavin Newsom wants Donald Trump to win more than they do. The Trumpiest of Trumpy people, Gavin Newsom wants Kamala Harris to lose, and it should be obvious. Gavin's entire angle is running for president in 2028. He wanted Donald Trump to win in 2020. So he can run in 2024 as a sitting governor of the most populous U.S. state. But unfortunately for Gavin, Joe Biden ended up winning, and Gavin had to pretend to be excited. So the reason Gavin and Gretchen Whitmer didn't want to run on the ticket, and the reason why Josh Shapiro wanting to run, I think, is so significant with Kamala Harris, is that both of them are angling to run in 2028. And they didn't want a loss to Donald Trump to stain that part of their candidacy. That's why Gavin Newsom and Gretchen Whitmer didn't want to run. So the fact that Josh Shapiro was even willing to consider being attached to a sinking ship as it goes down is amazing. And the fact that they didn't pick him is astonishing, because they need to win Dearborn, Michigan.